Welcome everyone to ClayShareCon 2025. I'm Jessica Putnam Phillips, and tonight, or this morning, or this afternoon, depending on where you are, I have a demonstration for you. I'm going to be using Sanbao's underglazes, and I'm going to layer them. And I've got a couple different things I want to share with you now. I only have 30 minutes. I had to squeeze this in. We've got so many other things happening. Directly after my demonstration, we have a break, and then Easy Screen is going to be with us. I just want to check. Yeah, they're next. So I get a lot, so I'm going to go right now. All right, so here are the new Sanbao Underglaze Decals. They have a lot of brand new designs. I shared them the other day. Birdhouses, the tarot cards, sunflowers, the blueberries, and I am going to do a quick layering, and then if we have time, we'll do another plate. So I got two things. Let's see if we can get it done. All right, so Underglaze Decals, we're all about transfer. We're all about surface this year, apparently, and I'm always all about surface and transfers. So for me, this isn't just this year. This is every year. But this year's ClayShareCon, there's a lot of surface stuff happening. You might have noticed that. And I think that's pretty amazing. So I'm going to continue on with that vein, and we're going to layer stuff up. Now, I have here a piece I made using the tarot cards. I guess we'll go into the overhead, where I layered the tarot cards on, and then black underglaze on top, and then peeled the cards away, the decals away, as a stencil. So it's a paper resist technique with the underglaze decals as the resist. So here I have it on this beautiful deep dish. And then here are the birdhouses on this right here. Look at this sweet plate. Now you could make this out of bakeware and put this in the oven. The clay I'm using here is all Laguna B-Mix 5. That just happens to be what I grabbed today. But you can use any clay you want. Decals do work best on lighter clay, keep that in mind. But if you have a dark clay, you can use them by putting down a white underglaze or slip or engobe. All right, so let me grab this board here. Yeah, we'll go the other way. This has got a different clay on it. You have many underglaze transfers. Well, I can teach you how to use them up. All right, so here's a slab of clay I rolled out a few hours ago, and I rolled it out to about 1/4 of an inch thick, but I'm thinning it down quite a bit actually right now. So we're going to get down just slightly thinner than 1/4 of an inch. But please don't let that be a hang up for you. That's all arbitrary, really. So let's see, is this going to be big enough? Well, what are you making? Well, I'm going to make a plate using this GR Pottery Farm Wally. This is, I believe, the 8-inch Wally. And I just need to make sure that, yep, I got enough, kind of flipping it up. Now, if I wanted to, I could trim away some of this excess clay here so it doesn't get in my way. But I usually don't, honestly. So what I do want to do is line it up in the center, and then I'm just going to press down a bit just to make a slight impression. I always want to make a good impression. I will never stop using that joke. So I made some marks. I'm going to clean up where I got a little aggressive. All right, so now, underglaze decal time. So I'm going to do a layering, and you've probably learned today some new things. I hope you have. One of them is when we're layering underglazes, decals, and transfers, the object you want to be in the front has to go down first, and then what you want for your background goes down after. So here we have underglaze decal. This is my Floral Batik, and I cut it out from the big sheet. Actually, this one's my Minnie's Lace, sorry. This is one of my designs I work with Sanbao on, and they sell this, so you can get my designs. And if you're looking at it and you're like, oh, there's a lot happening there, what's going on? Well, when you add color, it can look like that. So before, after, before, after. All right, so I laid this down on my underglaze sheet. I traced it, and then I cut it out. Pretty easy. You can do that. And then I'm just going to lay this directly on the clay. Just kind of rub it gently. And then I'm going to take a rib to smooth it out. Oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Forgot the first one. Woo! Nobody caught me, you guys. Come on, who's awake? No. Stop. I got a little excited and all right, mistakes happen and you will do this too. You can save it. Whew, just grab it quick. Did you see how quickly I snatched that up off the clay? That was happening. All right, we want to layer. Geez, lady, we're layering. So here I have the zodiac. And I have Aries because I'm an Aries. So I picked that. I'm going to line it up in the center-ish, as close to center as possible. Whew, that was a near thing. And now we're going to smooth this out. So this will be in the front. Okay, that's on. That's good. Now, well, let's go ahead and put our Underglaze decal on it. I'm going to try to get it as centered as I can. That's why I used the form. And I'm just going to smooth out from the center. The Minnie's lace. Oh, Lori, I know. So Lori, who's watching, the Minnie's lace was her grandmother's tablecloth. She sent me a piece of the lace. And I wanted to do my version of it, so I drew a design inspired by her lace. It's not a copy. If you look at her lace and you look at my design, you won't say that's the same, but you'll definitely see elements of that lace in my design, and this design would not exist without Lori's grandma's tablecloth. All right, so that's good. Now, you ready for what's next? I don't know if you are. Are you ready? I'm just going to line up the form with the edge. What? What's happening? It's happening like this, and then I'm going to flip the whole thing over. Just like that. And I'm going to, you guys are probably on the big front camera. Lift this off. I happen to have one of the little spacer. This is actually the little puller for this form. I didn't put it in yet, but we'll do that in a minute. All right, now I am just going to fold it down. And this is where that excess, we're going to come in and take that out. Now, I'm running a heater in my studio, so my clay has dried since I rolled my slab out. Ideally, I would roll this out and I would immediately, move that out of the way, immediately make whatever I'm making. But because I'm doing ClayShareCon and hosting and moderating, I don't have that luxury. I had to roll my slab out a couple hours ago. All right, that should get us there. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and fold this down. If you get any cracking on your clay, it's because your clay is too dry. So if your clay is straight out of the bag and it's too dry and it's cracking, you might want to look at a wetter clay. Try something different. But honestly, you just roll your slab out and you just go. All right, I'm going to grab a sponge, damp sponge, and I'm just going to smooth side to side and pull back. Smooth side to side, pull back. Just kind of pressing it to the side wall. Smooth the bottom. Just caressing where the side wall meets the floor, because I don't want to press in and thin it out. And then if you have these beautiful red ribs, which I hope you have a red rib. This is a new one to me. I just got a new present. It's the number 2 rib. So let's go ahead and give that one a go. And I'm not using my banding wheel only because I don't actually need to right now, but normally I do use a banding wheel. right, we're pretty close. So a lot of people are using wires, and often I just use my clay knife and I just hold it against the edge and I cut. But a wire works great too. I have one somewhere. This is my extruder wire. And we were talking about the Dirty Girls shotgun. Yeah, this is the one I bought by mistake. See how it's wiggly? That was a mistake. And then I got this giant wire. Can I make this one work? Probably. But this is one I use for my extruder. All right, so you get that done. Now what are we going to do? I'm going to flip the whole thing over. And then I'm going to press it. Because the clay was much drier than it should be for this technique, and this is really the importance of your clay's dryness. See how it's pulling away a bit? It would normally stick closer, but I am limited. I did roll out another slab quickly, just like, but I didn't realize this one was going to be so dry. All right, we're going to pop this out, and this little guy you can put in and you can use him to pop out, or you can just grab the form and pop it out. And there we have double decals in there. We want to we'll clean the edge up in a second. I'll show you how. So let's go in. I just take my knife. You could use a pair of long-handled tweezers if you have them. If you nick the clay, it's all right. We'll go back in and we'll clean it up. Look how beautiful this is. Look at that. Already looks great. And then we're going to go in and grab the decal, the first decal. Now, if I hadn't used the background decal, I could have put black underglaze on it now and let it set. Look at that. Look at how great that is. Isn't that fabulous? This would be nice, like you could make anything with this, but like pet dishes or something. You could do a decal with little doggy in there or something. So once you make this, then you let it sit up, and then you're going to need to come in and clean up your edge. And I'm going to show you how to do that quickly. But not too quick, because I want to do another plate. So here, this one, I made the exact same way. But after I removed the form, I had these in here. I went ahead and I took black underglaze and painted it all over everything. I let the black underglaze sit up. And then once it had sit up enough, I went in with the knife and I pulled the decal off. So just like I just did. Just like I did. Now, for the edge, you can get these. They're Surform tools, S-U-R-F-O-R-M. I have a couple of them. I have a really nice long gray one. I have this little yellow handled one. But what you're going to do is you're just going to go along the edge, just dragging it. And you see how you're shaving the edge. And you will do that until you get it nice and even. And you can use this on any pieces that you make. So I get this really nice, beautiful, even edge. This edge I already worked on for a bit. That's why it didn't take much to clean it up. This one I did for you. This one here is gonna take a little while. But we'll get to it. We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll get it. All right, so once you do that, you got some little bits of clay in there. Leave them. Don't worry about that. There's no need to deal with that right now. And then you just clean up your edge. Now, I'm going to put red Stroke and Coat on the rim. But I really want to make one more for you. How much time do I have? 15 minutes. I can do another one. So instead of taking the time, look, I'm going to take the red Stroke and Coat and I'll just paint 2 coats of it on the rim. I don't care that it's greenware, it's fine. I'll biscuit and then I'll glaze on top of the Stroke and Coat. It won't hurt anything. But I want to make another piece for you. So let's set this to the side. I'm going to have to go over here to set stuff. Sorry, everybody. I'll be right back. I've got to put this somewhere. Put that one there. Put this one over here. Okay. More clay is coming at us. All right. So I'm going to do one super quick with the birdhouse. I love the birdhouse. I think it's very cute. The birdhouse, I don't know if I would layer with it, but if you have a bird one, I don't have any bird decals. I was looking. I used to. I think I've used them all up. So I'm going to do the birdhouse just on a plate by itself, just birdhouse with a template. So we're going to do something that has a little cleaner edge than the one I just did. So we won't have to go back in and do a cleanup. Now tomorrow I'm doing a demo all with rolling pins and using our rim templates, and we're going to put feet on. We're going to get really fancy doing fancy trays tomorrow. But today we're just doing super fast, quick plates. We're not going to put a foot on this. So here's some more B-mix rolled out about 1/4 of an inch thick. Because I'm not adding extra texture, although, I mean, I can put texture on a decal. Let's do that. It's pretty cool, actually, to put texture on a decal. I'll show you how to do it. Although it might, all right, maybe not. I'm thinking about what's going to end up happening when I go to pull it off the way we're making this. All right, so I'm smoothing the clay. And if this is all new to you, check out my intro to hand building class on ClayShare. It goes over all of this that I'm doing right now. I'm compressing the clay, smoothing it out, getting rid of that canvas texture that's on there. It does stretch it a little bit, but that's really not my goal. My goal is to just really prep the clay so that we can use it. All right, let's go ahead, and I'm going to cut this shape out right now. So this is my, there we go, my ruffled square rim template. Tomorrow I'm going to do the ruffled rectangles. But you don't have to use this. You could use a paper plate, plastic plates. You could get a cutter from Daylight Design Gifts. Debbie has some great cutters. There's lots of options. You can make your own template, and I have classes that will teach you how. I mean, that's how come I make mine, is I learned how to make my own templates. And I've been doing that for 20 years now. And it's really great because I can come up with new designs, and a lot of them are inspired by historical pieces. This one is a complete, just I sat down and started drawing, and I wanted something ruffly and square. So it ended up being a ruffled square. Pretty original. Ruffled square. All right, so we have this. That's great. That's great. And we want texture on the entire thing. Now, I really, really wanted to use the blueberries, but the blueberries are out of stock. Right? Anybody check lately? It's your birthday. Happy birthday. I want to use the blueberries so bad. Should I use the blueberries even though they're out of stock? I mean, the way they look, what do you guys think? So you tried doing some Sanbao transfers and it smeared. So don't touch them after you remove. Yeah, do not touch the transfer. It's wet. It's underglaze. You can smear it. Here's the birdhouses on a plate. Use them. I'm using them. I'm using them. Okay. So you got a couple options here. I'm just going to go ahead and lay the transfer down with my rim template on top, and I'm just going to do a rough cut around, but often I will trace the shape, the rim template shape, and cut a little nicer, but I'm not doing that today. I want to get this done in the time we have. I feel like I'm in a race. All right, same thing as we did before. You know, and if you had something cute you wanted to put down first, if you had some little smaller ones. So this is a Sanbao Underglaze Decal demo. So I'm only going to use Sanbao's Underglaze transfers and decals. But if you had somebody else's super cute decals, you can mix them up. You mix and match. In my life, when I'm not demonstrating for a specific company, I will mix everybody with everybody. There is no rules. I use everybody's glazes together. I use everybody's transfers. You name it, I do it. I'm not a one, I guess I'm, I don't know, it's like clay. I don't use just one. I like to try it all. I want all of it. I'm the person that goes to, well, you guys won't know the reference to Friendlies, where you get like the, you get the sundae that has like all the ice creams and all the toppings. That's me. I want all of it. So I'm just smoothing out the transfer so I don't have any wrinkles or air bubbles or anything. I want a good transfer. Sometimes you'll get a little tiny wrinkle in there, and that's okay. Don't stress about those too much. And make sure you smooth it out right to the edge. Now, this is wet clay, just came off the slab roller. Like I just rolled it out. And that's my favorite time to use an underglaze decal. Now, I have a lot of underglaze decal transfer classes to teach you how to use them and take care of them after you put them on. When they come out of the bisque, they still will smear. So be careful, and when you're adding glaze, you have to be careful as well. And I do have tutorials on all of that. All right, so that's looking pretty good. And I'm gonna do a little shortcut. I'm just gonna take my finger and I'm gently gonna smooth this edge, so I'm slightly rounding this edge over, but I'm letting the underglaze decal help me. And this is because after I put the decal on, I'm not going to be able to do this without smearing the decal. All right, we got it on. Now, this works with any 9.5-inch GR pottery form. It works with rounds that are smaller, the 8-inch round. I mean, you can, just because it's a square doesn't mean you have to make square plates. You're not limited. I do happen to have the new square Wally, newer square Wally, and this is the 9.5. So I'm just going to line this up and just kind of eyeball it. Get it as close to centered as I can. But this is handmade, so I don't really get hung up on stuff being slightly off one way or the other. I really don't worry too much about that. I know everybody's like, the decal's still on there. It is. It is. All right, so I'm gently going around, maybe camera 2, and using my fingertips to pull down the clay so that I can release the board. And I'll just do that all the way around. As it starts to release, you almost get the birdhouses. Do I think a quilt cutter could cut the ruffle shape on the transfer cut out? I think it, yeah. The Friendlies Jim Dandy, you knew the name. I wasn't going to say the Jim Dandy. I didn't know if people would know, you know. All right, I'm going to sit this down because my board's really on there. All right, now we're going to pick it back up. You love the blueberries. Oh, they're so cute. Haha. All right, we're off. We have it. Now we're going to fold this down. Fold down the edges. And the paper's still in there. Yes, paper's still in there. All right, now my sponge, smooth. I mean, you could use the red rib instead, but what I really want to do you see how much easier it works with fresh clay, freshly rolled clay? That other clay sitting around, it's too stiff. You really need to use it right away. So if you're struggling, and I think your transfers will work better, although you can transfer onto bisque, and we do that in classes. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it off. As everybody says, Jeff's flipperoonie, that has been like the word. So we're going to do that little flipperoonie. Flip it all over. There's a lot of flipping happening. And I'm okay if this relaxes a little bit and opens up. I actually don't want this to be a really straight-sided piece for this particular piece because I use that rim template. But look, it comes right out. And then, ready? Just gonna peel this up. And if you let it set a little longer, you can get a more complete transfer. I am pushing it a little fast. Normally I'd let it set a few minutes, but time I don't have, sadly. Yeah, you can see how much better it transferred there than at the beginning. All right, let's peel it off. This goes in the rubbish. We have this beautiful plate. I like to roll these edges out a bit. It has kind of a country charm. It works really well with that template. Like the whole set is just cute, 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 cute. If I made this out of bakeware, which you can bake with B-Mix if you want to. I do like to use Laguna 60 usually for bakeware, but absolutely you could use B-Mix. It's just not the optimal clay. You haven't done transfers yet? Well, this is a really easy way to do a transfer. If you've never done transfers before, here's a simple, approachable way to do it. So you had problems with your transfer smudging when bisque. Yes, because your community studio stacks everything. So yeah, and you know what needs this dish, honestly, what I'm gonna do in the break, I'm gonna let it sit up a few minutes. It's too wet. I'm gonna make some handles. And I'm gonna put handles on this because this is a serving dish to me. This is a beautiful serving dish for, I mean, if I was gonna eat blueberry pie, it's a little big, isn't it? But, I mean, no one can tell me I can't have that much pie. No one should limit your pie consumption. It would be a great cobbler dish, wouldn't it? That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So, country cutie. Yes. So when do I use feet? So a piece like this, I wouldn't, well, maybe I'd put a foot on it. Usually when I'm doing fancier trays, and we'll put feet on things tomorrow. I'm looking at stuff. Planters, I do feet, fancy trays, fancier plates. When I'm making something bigger, a platter, I put feet on. When I'm doing something like this, I kept it simpler. When I do bakeware, I don't put feet on. I find feet are a point of weakness, and they could crack off. So I don't put feet on my bakeware. That's just how I do it. But that doesn't mean you have to. You can put feet if you want, but I do think it's more durable, especially when it's one piece like this, and it gets good to go. So very, very cute. If I had I wish I had a bird. Well, I don't have a big bird. If I had a bird, I would have put him in the bottom corner. I'll see if I can find one, even if it's somebody else's, and I'll make another one, and I'll share it with you. So, all right, any last minute questions before we go? You have a big family. So what color am I going to do the rim and sides? Blue or green. This blue will fire dark to like a cobalt blue, a nice deep dark blue. So I don't know, I'm going to make two. I'll do one green and one blue, right? But I really like blue. So many crack transfers, like they're like crack because you want them. Transfers, so if you want to see how to use transfers on a wheel thrown piece, I have a couple of tutorials for you. I even show you how you can put a transfer on a handle and wrap it all the way around the handle. Now, when you add a transfer to a wheel thrown piece, you get a volumetric form, which means the transfer does stretch and change a bit as you're bellying out, but it adds volume, it adds like movement to the form. And because you're stretching it as you shape it, it just works perfectly with the form. So if you want to use transfers and you want to, if you're a wheel thrower and you're like, yeah, that's great, but I'm a wheel thrower, and I know we haven't had wheel throwing this year on Clay Share Con. I've made a note, next year we're going to have more wheel throwing. So wheel throwers, I got you covered. But for a wheel thrown piece, I have classes for you. So go check them out. And you can get started using transfers on wheel thrown pots, everybody. So All right, thank you so much for this. And check out Sanbao. They have a discount code. Go to clayshare.com, and under ClayShareCon info, you can see the discounts and the promos and everything. And I believe we're giving away more transfers tonight. So lots of transfers. We're giving away a bunch of transfers. So, all right, I'll see you all in a few minutes with Easy Screen.